Who hasn't thought of wanting to clone themselves? So you could be perhaps sitting back on the beach or in a hammock relaxing while your clone does all your work, especially busy work. I know I've thought about it. I know you've thought about it. But here's the challenge: cloning us, all of us are different people at different times of the day. Sometimes we have our creator hat on. Sometimes we have our sales hat on. Sometimes we have our customer service hat on. Whether you work for your own company or you work for a huge company, we all have different hats on at different times of the day, right? So if you've got one clone and it's mimicking you just in one particular way, maybe that's not that helpful. So, what is the solution? I think the solution is to have numerous clones of yourself. And that's exactly what I've done. I'm going to walk you through my experiment today. We're going to test it out and see how it works. So, those of you who've been with me before, welcome back. I'm TJ Walker. This is the TJ Walker Success Channel. We're all about helping you become more successful in life by communicating more effectively and boosting your confidence in your communication and all your personal development skills. These days, I'm really focused on technologies to help people communicate more effectively. And what I think is the most exciting technology of all, digital generative AI cloning, artificial intelligence cloning. I'm going to bring mine up here. I've been sharing this recently, what I've been doing, and I'm going to share some new developments that I've done just since yesterday. So in the past, I've had one main clone, and this has put in all of my writings, all of my books that you see behind me, all of my YouTube channels. It's every video from a YouTube channel. It's put in blog posts. It's put in basically all of my intellectual property over the last 5, 10, 15 years. I put it into this database that trained my clone. And so that's what you hear or see right here. And it has sort of a generic opening. Let's listen to it.
Hi, I'm TJ's clone. How may I help you?
Okay, so this is my main sort of master clone. Its guide to answer any questions you want, coach you, train you, but it's not really knowing what you want. So that's a good start. And for many, many people, that may be all they ever want is a clone that sits on their website or that handles inquiries from customers or clients. But I do different things. I mean, I don't like to be pigeonholed. I'm sure you don't either. So sometimes I have people who just want tips on communication skills. They don't want to know how to hire me. They don't want to know about personal development or habits or anything else. They don't even want to know about dealing with the media. They just want to know about how to speak, present, talk more effectively. So I've created a separate clone. And the program I'm using on delphi.ai, they call them instances. It's basically a different modification version of your main clone, but it's given different instructions. So this clone has been taught to teach people just how to advance their communication skills, not how to hire me, not how to create media sound bites, although this one probably could, not how to build personal development habit. Everything is with a conversation is geared towards communication skills, starting from the very first thing it says to you. And it's slightly different from the other one.
Hi, I'm TJ's clone. How may I help you communicate more effectively?
So it's tailoring the conversation along the lines of communication, not simply, how can I help you today? Mohammed says, hello, are you in a live video today? Yes, Mohammed, I am live. What you just heard a moment ago was a digitized AI generated version of my voice, but I'm live right now. If you are watching this at 9:05 Eastern Time, May 30th, 2024. which is the time it is right now. You could be watching it on demand later, but we are in fact live. So I'm walking through these different versions of clones that I have. Now, the most exciting thing, which I hope happens in the next few weeks here, is instead of seeing a picture of me and hearing my voice, you'll actually see me talking to you. And the lips will be in sync with what I'm saying, and it will certainly appear to be as if I'm live. I'm not going to lie to anyone or try to deceive anyone. I clearly label myself as TJ's clone when it's coming from the clone. Again, I'm the real thing. So that's if someone, so here's how I'm planning on using this. I have a number of online courses that are specific to communication skills, public speaking training, how to prepare for a job interview, very, very specific niche ones that relate to communication skills. So I'm going to have this clone be a coach, a tutor, a mentor attached to each one of those courses. So it's going to give added value to the course, help people. So if you've taken if you've watched the first few videos, maybe done the first assignment, and you're thinking, all this is interesting, but I really got to figure out how to prepare for my job interview tomorrow. Boom, you go right to my clone, and it can do sample interviews with you right away. So that's what that's all about. And Mansoor has joined us. Mansoor, if you want to ask a question of any version of my clone or any one of my separate clones, let me know, and I'm happy to have you on. Muhammad says, job interview, let me know. Okay. So that would be under the category of communication skills. Let's try that right now and just test it out. If you want to ask a question, let me know. But otherwise, let's listen to this.
Hi, I'm TJ's clone. How may I help you communicate more effectively?
Hi, TJ. My colleague Mohammed has a job interview tomorrow. He has an interview with Emphasis Technologies. It's one of the most prominent technology consulting firms in the world. He is a software engineer. He has a year or two of experience. And I'm wondering if you have specific tips on how he can come across his best in this live face-to-face interview he's having with Emphasis Technologies tomorrow.
Absolutely. Let's get Mohammed ready to shine in his interview with Emphasis Technologies. Here are some key tips to help him stand out. First, Mohammed should focus on his storytelling. He needs to be able to articulate his experiences and achievements in a compelling way. For instance, instead of just saying he worked on a project, he should describe the challenges he faced, the actions he took, and the results he achieved. This STAR method, situation, task, action, result, is a powerful way to frame it. He should research Emphasis Technologies thoroughly. Knowing the company's values, recent projects.
Yeah, I'm going to hit stop right there on the clone and bring up Mansoor, because I was just making stuff up. That was obviously just hypothetical, but always better to be able to make it real. Mansoor, if you want to turn your microphone on, I'm more than happy if you want to ask any one of my digital clones a question, or if you just want to share something, or ask me a question. I'm not completely obsolete yet either.
Good morning, TG. How are you doing? Hope you're fine and healthy.
Yes.
Yeah, today I'm in the shop, so your internet's hot. So that's why I join in the sessions. How are you doing?
You join us today. And I'm sorry, where did you say you are today?
Sorry?
Where are you today? What city?
Today, yeah, I'm in Kabul, and
in Kabul,
in one of my friend's shop. Yeah, I have joined this conversation. So I was always trying to join these sessions and learn something from these sessions.
Great. Do you have any questions for one of my clones? Because I've set
yeah,
up,
exactly.
I basically have really 6 different versions of my clone. A general one that has all of my knowledge, one that is designed to focus on helping people with their communication skills, one designed to help people with their media training.
My question is that, what is the base communication skills for those people who doesn't know English?
Okay, let's ask the clone that. I'm not sure if it can pull from your audio into mine, so I'm going to re-ask the question. But normally, if you have a cell phone, any internet connection, you can simply ask the question directly to my clone. But I'm going to restate it. I'm going to call it again. And can you state your question one more time? I want to make sure I'm accurately
My
paraphrasing it.
question, my yeah, my questions was that what is the base communication skills for those people who doesn't know anything
Anything about the technology of the company they're applying to, or just
about
anything about
yeah,
English?
about the technology, yeah, about the technology, about the social media, about the daily activity, what we are, connecting with the words with the people through social media.
Okay. Let me get our clone on here and see what he has to say.
Hi, I'm TJ's clone. How may I help you communicate more effectively?
TJ, I wondered if you could give us a baseline of what you think the average person who is, let's say, 22 years old, going into the job market, what should they really know about communication and social media? And let's say it's someone who was a history major, wasn't very high tech, but now they're going into the real world, they're going into the work world, and there's certain expectations that their employers will have about communication skills and about social media. What do you think the base level of skills are these days?
For a 22-year-old entering the job market, especially with a background in history and not much tech experience, there are a few key communication and social media skills that are essential. First, you need to be comfortable with basic digital communication tools like email, video conferencing platforms, and collaborative software like Slack or Microsoft Teams. Employers expect you to be proficient in these because they are the backbone of modern workplace communication. Next, understanding how to craft clear, concise, and professional emails is crucial. This means knowing how to structure your messages, use appropriate salutations, and maintain a professional tone. It's about making sure your communication is effective and leaves a positive impression. When it comes to social media, you don't need to be a social media expert, but you should have a solid understanding of how to use platforms like LinkedIn to build your professional network. This includes knowing how to create a compelling profile, connect with industry professionals, and share relevant content that showcases your expertise and interests. Additionally, being able to analyze and interpret data from social media metrics can be a valuable skill. This means understanding basic analytics to see what content is performing well and why, which can help you make informed decisions about your social media strategy. Finally, public speaking and presentation skills are vital. Whether you're presenting in a meeting, pitching an idea, or speaking at a conference, being able to communicate your ideas clearly and confidently is a must. Practice speaking in front of a mirror, record yourself, and seek feedback to
Wow,
continuously improve. What
Wait a
specific
second, TJ. I just heard something I've never heard the real TJ say, which is practice in front of a mirror. I think that's horrible advice. Isn't it much better to practice in front of a video camera where you can record it and then look at it? Why are you giving bad advice?
You're absolutely right. Practicing in front of a mirror is not the best approach. The real magic happens when you record yourself on video. This way, you can watch your performance.
Okay, so I'll hit stop right there. So I we don't have all the bugs out of this yet. So certainly in general with artificial intelligence, it's known for hallucinating, making stuff up. I have rarely caught my clone doing that because my clone is not trained on the entire internet. It's cloned on my information, but how that little part got in there, I don't really know. So I see that we have not only Mohammed Salani has dropped by, Karima has dropped by. ZMI says hello. So happy to have so many on board today. If you have questions for any version of my clone, let me know. Mansoor, what did you, and I might not have characterized your question the right way. And it was a little longer answer than I thought I'd programmed it to give. But what did you think of that as just sort of an initial response if you were in a course and you wanted to go right to something like that? Would that have been helpful or not?
Well, the information which is 3G is information which is provided somehow uh, good, but knowledge is a power. If somebody has knowledge, definitely he will reach to his targets to make a presentations, to guide the people in the right way. Uh, what we are doing currently, we in the first things we are going to brief the front line. I mean, front line, those people who doesn't know nothing. But we have lots of people that they have lots, they know lots of knowledge and improve day by day their English, their communication, their presentation skills. So step by step, so we will reach to our targets.
Hmm. Well,
Yeah.
I'm hoping to
So
help
now
people
what we are
reach.
currently what yeah what we are currently doing for those people who doesn't know anything, uh, we brief them in a proper ways. We bring them in a class, we bring them in a meeting room, we discuss face to face, or we communicate through email, and we make a presentation,
Hmm.
I think.
Yeah, all those
Yeah,
things, and to me, the potential for these clones is that they can reproduce sort of a one-on-one tutoring situation. All the research shows there's something known as Bloom's two standard deviation paradox, whereas if you can take someone in a classroom with 30 people, they get one result. If you can give them a one-on-one tutor, they will actually learn more than all but 2 to 4% of students. They'll automatically go to the top 4% or even 2% because of one-on-one tutoring, the ability to ask a question whenever you want it, and to have a tutor make sure you master this before going to the next. If you're in a classroom, the teacher has to continue without knowing if every teacher is on the same path. So
exactly.
that's what I'm trying to figure out is how can I create a digital cloning experience so that I can essentially be a one-on-one coach, a tutor for people all around the
Exactly.
world without me having to fly to the other side of the world or them having to fly here and without them having to have the budget to hire me for a full day. That's really the goal is to figure how can we make this not just knowledge, but this true coaching tutoring experience available to everyone around the world, if not no cost, then at least low cost or a lot lower than what could be done now. So that is the real challenge. I want you to ask my client. We'll see if it can hear it. Ask a question. If it can't hear it because of how we have the setup, then I'll rephrase it. But I'm going to go ahead and call the clone again. I want you to ask any question you want that relates to communications because that's the clone I'm in right now.
Hi, I'm TJ's
Yeah,
clone. How may I help you communicate more effectively?
Go
yeah.
ahead,
TG,
Mansoor.
my question is that how we can improve our family's knowledge, the behavior, what we are,
Oh, it's not.
doing on daily
Sorry,
basis.
Mansoor. Apologies. I can tell right now it's only able to hear it, input it through this mic, not the computer power. So I'm going to have to
Okay.
ask the question. Go ahead and tell me the question now, and then I will try to summarize it and state it to the to the clone. Go ahead.
Okay. My question is that how we can improve our family's behavior and the home environment. I mean, most of the people, have problems in their families. They don't have knowledge how to improve their families in the best way.
Yes. Okay. Let me ask that question. I'm going to have to call it again, and we'll have to hear the opening again because I had to turn it off. But
Hi, I'm TJ's clone. How may I help you communicate more effectively?
well, TJ, I feel very comfortable giving a keynote speech, delivering a PowerPoint presentation, speaking on Zoom, but I'm really not very good talking to family members. It seems so often that discussions escalate into arguments, simple request for politeness ends up everyone's defensive. What suggestions do you have for how to communicate more effectively to one's own nuclear family?
When it comes to communicating with family members, it's crucial to approach conversations with empathy and patience. Unlike a keynote speech or a Zoom presentation, family discussions are deeply personal and emotionally charged. Here are a few strategies to help you navigate these conversations more effectively. First, focus on active listening. This means truly hearing what the other person is saying without planning your response while they're speaking. Show that you're listening by nodding, maintaining eye contact, and occasionally summarizing what they've said to ensure you understand their perspective. Second, use I statements instead of you statements. For example, say, I feel upset when I'm wrong. Instead of, you always make me upset by this reduces the likelihood of the other person becoming defensive. This reduces the likelihood of the other person becoming defensive and helps keep the conversation focused on your feelings and needs. Third, set clear boundaries and expectations. If a conversation starts to escalate, it's okay to take a break and revisit the topic later when everyone is calmer. You can say something like, I think we need to take a break and come back to this when we're both feeling more relaxed. Finally, practice empathy. Try to understand where your family members are coming from and acknowledge their feelings. This doesn't mean you have to agree with them, but showing that you understand can go a long way in de-escalating conflicts. Let's try a quick simulation. Imagine you're asking a family member to be more polite. How would you phrase your request using these strategies? Give it a try and let's refine it together.
So I would say, I'm going to make this up now. I'm going to say, I would say to my daughter, why did you leave the refrigerator door open? You're always doing that. Were you raised in a barn? Why do you want to waste all my money? TJ, what do you think of that response?
Your response is understandable, but it could definitely escalate the situation. Let's refine it. Instead of
Okay, that was fairly diplomatic. Mansoor, a quick reaction from you on what we heard. Was that, I mean, I didn't hear anything that really struck me as bad advice. Do you find that that was helpful or not? And please don't tell me what you think I want to hear. I want honest feedback.
Well, the information which is provided by the Shiji, it was great. Yeah, the same communication we should apply to our families, and the same step we should apply to our families in order to satisfy them. It was great. Yeah, I'm totally satisfied.
Okay, great. Well, stay with us, Mansoor. We appreciate your participation. We're going to go to some other questions now. And Mohammed, if you wanted to ask any interview questions, I know we dealt with that earlier. ZMI, if you want to ask any questions, we're happy that you're here. And we have another. Oh, I missed a question. So this is from Solani. It says, Walker, so few people understand you as a female. Why is this so? I don't know. Let's talk about this issue. I'm going to call our clone, see what it has to say.
Hi, I'm TJ's clone. How may I help you communicate more effectively?
TJ, I'm trying to deal with the issue that we live in cultures around the world where people tend to associate authority with a deep voice, therefore often a deep male voice. And it just seems like in the workplace, women are not heard, they're not listened to. And indeed, even in social situations, it's more common for them to be talked over. So first of all, is this true, or do I have a warped perspective? If it is true, how should a woman deal with this issue to increase the chances of being heard and respected?
Yes, it's true that societal biases often associate authority with a deep voice, which can disadvantage women in both professional and social settings. However, the key to being heard and respected isn't about trying to artificially lower your voice. It's about making your content compelling and your delivery engaging. Focus on being interesting. Share ideas, stories, and examples that captivate your audience. Speak with passion and conviction. When you have something valuable to say and you say it with confidence, people will listen. Also, practice assertive body language. Stand tall, make eye contact, and use deliberate gestures. These nonverbal cues can significantly enhance your presence and authority. Let's try a quick exercise.
Hey,
Think of
TJ,
a
wait a
recent
minute.
meeting
So
or
none of
social
that is
situation.
bad advice, but I'm in a work environment where the men are obnoxious. They just routinely talk over me. I can do everything you just said. They interrupt me. How should I handle these interruptions? Should I just have to take it? What's your advice on men who interrupt women?
You definitely don't have to just take it. When men interrupt you, it's crucial to assert yourself confidently. One effective strategy is to stop speaking. Make direct eye contact with the interrupter and calmly but firmly say, "Excuse me, I wasn't finished." Then continue with your point. This approach signals that you value your contribution and expect others to do the same. Another tactic is to enlist allies before meetings. Talk to a few colleagues who respect you and ask them to support you if interruptions occur. They can interject with, "I'd like to hear the rest of what she was saying," which can help reinforce your authority. Remember, your voice matters. Practice these techniques and let me know how they work.
Okay, so Saloni, if you're still with us, I would love to hear your opinion on that. Hearing that, I thought, some of the things seemed like good advice. Some of those may not have been good advice for particular cultural situations. I do know that certain parts of the world, a woman looking directly into the eyes of a male colleague can be construed very differently than it is in the United States or Western Europe. So I do realize there are some cultural contexts that the clone is not adept at addressing in every situation. It might not always give great advice. So it does have bias. There's been a lot of talk about bias in artificial intelligence. My clone has bias. It's the bias of how I've lived as a white male in North America for the last 60 years. So I do want to be upfront about that. I try to remove bias, try to recognize bias as much as I can, but I'm not aware of any perfect way of eliminating that. So if you heard that, Salani, if you found any of that useful, let me know. If you have some suggestions on how I can make it better, please let me know. So Karima says, I don't have the patience to listen to such long answers. Yesterday, just when I was happy with the clone's response, you complained to him. I have a preference for a very different style of talking. So Karima, in the clone settings of the program I'm using a platform called delphi.ai. And it allows you to adjust your answers from long to short. I did have my settings on long answers. Now, long meaning like 2 minutes long, not a half hour speech. I have adjusted it to make them much, much shorter, but that one wasn't that short. So I've got to do a better job of learning the adjustments, or the platform is still going through iterations. I think long term, Karima, as these various platforms get adept at helping people like you, a knowledge expert, a trainer, a subject matter expert, create a clone, you'll be able to calibrate it to the point where you can basically say, I want 15-second answers, or I want 2-sentence answers, and to make it more like a real dialogue. I'm experimenting with that. I haven't found it yet. Okay. More comments coming in. Karima says, Bloom's two deviation paradox makes sense, but I fear that clones are likely to put me out of a job because I'm a one-on-one coach tutor myself. In principle, I'd love to be able to mentor millions for free. So, Karima, I do think that, like all technologies, there is a possibility for some people to lose their jobs. In the United States in 1950, there were something like 400,000 women employed as telephone operators. Well, automation put all of them out of business. Most of them found business as secretaries and other office type jobs. So there's always the possibility that any technology can put you out of business. I do think that if you are a knowledge worker, if you have expertise, the real opportunity is to figure out how to harness this artificial intelligence, to use it to help more people. And that way you can become more valuable than ever. Because Karima, let's say you have 1 million people who access your own area of expertise for free on your clone. But let's say out of 1 million, there's 100,000 who see what you're doing as so valuable that they want extra help. They want longer help. They want they want unlimited access. If forget 100,000, let's say there's 10,000 who want your insights at a deeper level, and you charge them $1 a month. Well, that's $10,000 a month. Now you have a six-figure income. Plus, you may develop enough of a fan base from people who like your clone, like your ideas, like your insights, so that when you do come out with a book, they're willing to pay for that. So these are and I don't have it all worked out. These are some of the models that we're looking at. I'm certainly looking at. But the beauty of the digital clone is you can reach more people for less of an investment of their money, of your time. So that in theory, the cost could go way, way down. This doesn't have to be for free. That's just one model. I think the most likely model is you're going to get some stuff for free and some higher level or some additional time that people do charge for. I think that's sort of the most likely scenario. So, but Karima points out quite rightly, I need to generate income for my living expenses. What does clone TJ? Okay, let's ask that. You know what? Let's ask that question of the overall clone. I'm going to go back to my main clone. And just briefly, for those of you joining us, we're trying out new versions of my clone today. This is my general clone. We've also gone to my communication skills clone, which answers questions specifically through the lens of communication. This clone asks you what media training skills you're trying to learn. Now, it can answer questions about anything else, but it has been programmed by me, not because I know computer programming, but because I typed in what I wanted it to do. And this one is designed to help people with communication skills. The next clone is specifically for personal development, to track my courses on personal development and to help people with skills like focus and habit building and how to get better sleep and how to be more successful in life, how to find purpose. The next clone I have is just about how to build good habits. And then the final clone is sort of support, customer service, sales. This is what I'm going to have on, I hope by tomorrow, right on my websites, so that people come in every day and say, TJ, how much is a public speaking workshop per day for 5 people in Houston? Boom, it can tell them right away. And they don't have to go back and forth and sign up for a Zoom meeting with me and all these things that, frankly, a lot of people don't like. But let's ask the general overall clone Karima's question, because this is stuff I've talked about in the last month on my YouTube show, on my social media show. Everything I've said on YouTube has been ingested on a daily basis into my clone. So let's see what it comes up with.
Hi, I'm TJ's clone. How may I help you?
TJ, my friend Karima has some real concerns about people or things like you, specifically digital clones. Karima is a subject matter expert. She conducts one-on-one trainings with people around the world, in person and online. She's very worried that clones like you are going to put her out of business. Is this a legitimate concern, or is this going to create more opportunities for tutors like Karima, or is it both? Please share your thoughts.
Karima's concerns are understandable. The rise of digital clones is indeed a game changer. However, it's not necessarily a threat to her business. In fact, it can create more opportunities. Digital clones can handle repetitive tasks, freeing up Karima to focus on high-value, personalized interactions that only a human can provide. Think of it as an enhancement rather than a replacement. By leveraging digital clones, Karima can scale her expertise, reach more people, value. What specific aspect of her training does she feel most threatened by? Let's explore how she can turn this into an advantage.
Okay, so Karima, that certainly might not have addressed all your concerns, but then we have to balance that between long answers and short answers. So if you were, and unfortunately we can't connect you to talk directly to the the clone now, although that clone is available. You can ask that clone a question right now on my website. I'd be interested in you trying that out and telling me what you think of the quality of the answers on that very question. And also, if you want to come on today with us live, happy to have you on. If you want to type your reaction to that, let me know. And it looks like you did. So thanks for taking the time to answer. Definitely food for thought. Let me address a couple of other questions that have come in. Olvoisa has essentially spammed me asking, put a link to cheap viewers. So, Olvoisa, I'll let you know right now, if you want to promote some promotion program you have, an SEO program, I'm actually happy to have you promote it. But what I ask is that you speak to us. Come on, show your face. Let us hear your voice and tell me about how you help people. I'm all in favor of that, but we're about spoken communication. So just a URL is sort of annoying, and I can't imagine how that could possibly help you. Nor can I figure out why anyone would be interested in cheap viewers. I don't want cheap. Who wants cheap anything? It sounds tawdry and worthless. But I do appreciate you stopping by to say hello from Twitch, it appears like. So we're happy to have people with us today on Twitch, on Facebook, Twitter X, YouTube, LinkedIn, and several other places. So thanks for joining us. So Karima adds a few other thoughts. She says you wouldn't have thought to ask questions like this. You were referring to the exact interaction. What I like, you did not. So I'm not quite sure what you meant by that. If you'd like to elaborate, Karima, happy to hear from you. And Karima says she will test it later today. So thanks for doing that. I am testing right now because I made 4 of these clones just in the last 18 hours. So this is exciting time. This is a time for creation. And Karima says, yes, glad we're not cheaper, tawdry. No, Karima, you are not cheaper, tawdry. I value your time and I value your attention. That's why I don't want to spam you with nonsense. Let's try a few other things. So as I mentioned to you, this is my general clone that answers anything related to anything I've written from a general perspective. We've already asked this one questions on communication skills. Now we're going to ask something specific to media training. So I'm going to ask a specific media training question.
Hi, I'm TJ's clone. How may I help you improve your media training skills?
TJ, I'm about to do an interview on CNBC about the rise of digital clones in general and mine in specifically. I really want to get some good quotes and sound bites out of this that are picked up by wire services, perhaps the Wall Street Journal, other places. So I want great quotes and sound bites. My message is that my clone is so much better than any other communication skills clone. People would be crazy not to use it. And that this whole phenomenon of digital cloning is so transformational that it's a bigger deal for communicators than the internet itself and then Gutenberg's printing press. But I don't want to seem over the top. I don't want to seem crazy. I want quotes that seem measured, responsible, not like it's just full of hype. I think people are tired of the hype. So I do want great specific sound bites. I'd like you to give me half a dozen or so sound bites on my message that I mentioned to you. And then I want you to tell me what soundbite elements were in each of the quotes you gave me.
Absolutely. Let's craft some powerful yet measured sound bites for your CNBC interview. Here are a few that should resonate well. Digital clones are revolutionizing communication, making it more effective and personalized than ever before. Our clone isn't just another tool, it's the gold standard in communication training, setting new benchmarks for excellence. Imagine a world where your communication skills are enhanced by technology that understands you better than anyone else. That's the power of our digital clone. Digital cloning is not just a trend, it's a transformational leap akin to the invention of the internet or the printing press. Choosing our digital clone is like choosing the future of communication. It's a decision that sets you apart from the rest. Our clone empowers users with unparalleled technology, transforming their interactions and making them more impactful. Digital cloning is the next frontier in communication, offering a level of personalization and effectiveness that was previously unimaginable. Now, let's break down the soundbite elements in each quote. 1. Digital clones are revolutionizing communication, making it more effective and personalized than ever before. Analogy, revolutionizing communication. Emotion, effective and personalized. 2. Our clone isn't just another tool. It's the gold standard in communication training, setting new benchmarks for excellence. Cliché ye. Gold standard. Absolutes were setting new benchmarks. 3. Imagine a world where your communication skills are enhanced by technology that understands you better than anyone else. That's the power of our digital clone. Shagartsi pop culture reference. Imagine a world. Emotion. Power of our digital clone. 4. Digital cloning is not just a trend, it's a transformational leap akin to the invention of the internet or the printing press. Analogy, akin to the invention of the internet or the printing press. Absolutes, transformational leap. 5. Choosing our digital clone is like choosing.
I'm going to stop that one right there. I have to tell you, I am pleased with that. Now, if you are, let's say, a public relations person or executive communications person, you're trying to write a press release, it's obviously going to be a lot more helpful to have that in a text version. I should point out in all of my clones, the default is actually you type in a question or you dictate a question, it turns it to type, and it gives you a text answer. And then you can copy it. So if I'm actually looking to get sound bites, I would want that in a text format. So I was pleased with that. Karima says that was lovely. Voice so smooth and creamy, relaxing to listen to. Well, thank you. And because I think it is modeled after my voice. Now I've heard it so much, to me, it basically sounds 100% like my voice. I've heard other people say 90%, 95%. There were occasional glitches. And every so often it will say something, instead of often, it says oven, which is weird. But overall, I have to tell you, I'm impressed with the quality of the voice sounding close to mine. So I do like that. With the soundbite exercise we just did, I do think it was good quality stuff. Structurally, it followed the patterns I teach and stress in my media training courses, workshops, seminars, books, online courses. But what it did that I don't do is it did it so quickly. I mean, it just gave a dozen or so sound bites instantly. Now, I'm pretty quick at sound bites, but I'm not that quick. So I do see that as a breakthrough. And this is one area where I do think that artificial intelligence and clones, it's not worse than the real thing. It's not the same. It's actually better. Now, am I saying there's no role for me at all? Obviously not. Karima says, I didn't hear any noticeable glitches. Well, that's meaningful because Karima, I know you have a discerning ear. In our remaining time, because I'm gonna have to shut off in a moment because we're switching over to a live session just for my online students. If you are one of my online students, we'll be in the normal place in our private Facebook group at the top of the hour. But I just wanted to show you a couple of other things. So I have another clone or another version of my clone that is specific to personal development. So it's not trying to coach you to practice your public speaking and your media skills. Let's say hello to this clone. Uh-oh. Now, this has happened before where there was a glitch. That is a relatively new system. I am working with a startup, delphi.ai. So occasionally we get these glitches where it just doesn't connect. But I guess at the end of my
Hi,
allotted
I'm
hour,
TJ's clone. How may I help you improve your personal development skills?
yes, TJ, I would like to build better sleep habits. What specific recommendations do you have for me in that last hour before I go to bed? Because I do like to check any last minute emails and texts and things like that.
To build better sleep habits, it's crucial to create a calming pre-sleep routine. In that last hour before bed, try to avoid screens, including emails and texts, as the blue light can interfere with your sleep. Instead, focus on activities that help you wind down. Consider reading a physical book, practicing deep breathing exercises, or listening to calming music. These activities can signal to your brain that it's time to relax and prepare for sleep. What specific calming activity do you think you could incorporate into your pre-sleep routine tonight?
Okay, TJ, that was pretty good. Thanks a lot. And again, what's different about this from what it did earlier this week when you saw me is before I had everything geared towards helping people with communication skills. But as I mentioned at the top of the hour, we all have different personalities, different aspects of our work. Sometimes we are in a sales mode, sometimes in a promotional mode, sometimes a customer service mode. You can have all these different modes that are really, really specific to what you're trying to do at that point. Now, what I didn't focus on yet is of two more. I have one about habits that only focuses on habits. And then the final one, which short term may actually have the biggest impact on my business, is one that's just for support and information when someone comes to my website, because that's what will help with sales. At least I'm hoping so, because so often people just come to my website and they say, give me a proposal, or how much for a half-day public speaking workshop. They want something quick. My inclination is to try to get them on for a Zoom call, but people don't want that. So we're going to test this to see how it works. I'm TJ Walker. Thanks for joining me today. I'll be back. I say I'll be back in an hour or so, or actually 2 hours today. I have to go to my daughter's parent-teacher meeting at school. But I am feeling a little bit of a cold coming on, and my throat is feeling a little sore. So I may take off the rest of the day after the live session with students. Thanks so much. Be sure to watch the recorded videos, on-demand videos that come out not once, not twice, but 3 times a day, every day right here.